Paling yang kayak tau gak sih yang jamu perapet Misfi gitu-gitu lah.
Jamu perapet.
Apa sih? Jamu rapet itu loh.
Sari rapet.
Iya gak tahu gue apa.
Jamu buat ngerapetin.
Iya. Paling kayak gitu sih.
Ngerapetin vagina.
Iya itu.
Iya.
Yang kayak herbal gitu.
Herbal iya.
Herbal, ya.
Ada yang ini kok gue jadi tahu. Ada yang diminum, itu emang herbal gitu.
Iya, diminum,
ada yang diminum, ada yang buat basuh-basuh, dibasuh-basuh. Gitu, iya benar.
Tahu banget ya kayaknya.
Iya, masa direndam? Lo depan TV pakai ember gitu gini. Insomnia barengan Devon and Friends, this is Talk Pod. Iya sekali. I'm ready. Kenapa hari ini nggak ada Mongol? Mongol hari ini lagi dalam perjalanan dari Pontianak menuju Bekasi. Jadi sampai Soekarno-Hatta dia nyambung banana boat.
Buset.
Ya, hari ini kita akan ngobrol berdua aja. Mumpung lagi nggak ada Mongol, gue akan ngobrol sama perempuan cantik, seksi, dan selalu jadi perbincangan di sosial media. Ini dia, Anastasia Kosasi. Kamu maunya di kanan apa di kiri?
Di kanan deh.
Di kanan. Karena perempuan itu selalu ada angle-nya, bro.
Oh, emang ada gitunya, Pak?
Iya bener kan, perempuan selalu
Iya, ada.
better angle-nya dari kanan atau dari kiri.
Bener.
Kayak gue pernah nge-MC-in ada acara bintang tamunya David Beckham.
Oh, benar ini ya?
Beneran.
Oke.
David Beckham itu nggak mau kalau dia kelihatan dari sebelah kiri.
Kenapa?
Harus dari kanan.
Angle-nya kiri.
Dia merasa dia gantengnya di situ.
Oh.
Kayak gue angle-nya mana ya? Gue atas.
Nggak gitu dong.
Karena ubun-ubun gue ganteng, bro.
Oh, lagi lucu.
Tasya, manggilnya Anastasia, Tasya atau Baby aja?
Bebas.
Ah!
Halus. Bebas sih, Tasya boleh.
Tasya ini sekarang memegang title selebgram pemersatu bangsa.
Banyak yang bilang gitu.
Karena kamu baru beberapa, kayak aku lihat di channelnya Nikita Mirzani, karena baru beberapa waktu lalu membuka Instagram kamu buat publik.
Bener.
Kenapa tadinya digembok?
Karena maksudnya nggak pengen kayak, gue pengen cari duit di Instagram, gue harus terkenal di Instagram gitu, enggak.
Karena sebelumnya kamu ngapain?
Sebelumnya mahasiswa biasa sih,
Mahasiswa biasa yang
kuliah.
Oh.
Cuman main IG tuh cuman kayak yang seperlunya doang gitu. Cuman kayak paling follow orang gitu-gitu doang sih. Dan pas nyoba di unprivate tuh ternyata engagementnya bagus, makanya ya udah diterusin di sini.
Oke. Waktu Instagram kamu digembok, apa yang kamu post?
Iya.
Your daily life doang?
Iya bener. Kayak foto sama teman, foto sendiri.
Oke.
Jarang ngepost juga sih kalau pas digembok ya.
Kamu merasa kamu seksi ya?
Biasa aja sih.
Biasa aja?
Iya maksudnya ya biasa aja.
Karena kamu, ya, aku lihat Instagram kamu kan. Boni udah lihat Instagramnya Tasya?
Sudah, Kak.
Sudah follow? Tunggu ya, nanti Sabtu depan ada giveaway dari Anastasia Kosasi.
Ini
Giveaway apa tuh?
Terserah mau beli apa. Gua jual omongan aja, siapa tahu.
Gak ada gitu.
Gak ada ya, oke. Sampai akhirnya dijuluki pemersatu bangsa dan sekarang followersnya
1,2
juta. Dalam waktu setahun?
Ya setahun lebih lah.
Oke, berarti kamu memaintain setiap ininya nggak?
Postnya?
Apa namanya? Iya, postnya harus grid kan perempuan biasanya.
Enggak. Jadi feednya berantakan aja sebenarnya.
Feednya berantakan aja.
Aku post yang aku suka.
Tapi most hits, most likes-nya kan yang seksi.
Iya benar. Engagement-nya tinggi di situ sih.
Oke, jadi beberapa brand masuk di Instagram sekarang, ada nggak yang demanding kamu harus fotonya seksi?
Enggak ada.
Nggak ada? Bebas aja?
Bebas.
Tapi gimana pun akan...
Ya sebenarnya gini
kamu
loh.
ngeliatin nggak sih buat foto? I mean,
Enggak.
I wanna look sexy with this suit, with this...
Enggak. Jadi kayak kalau misalnya foto, namanya foto kan ada tempat bagus kita foto kan.
Ya.
Kalau misalnya aku ngerasa, oh gue lagi bagus nih, ya udah foto aja. Kan maksudnya yang di foto itu baju yang gue pakai sekarang kan. Maksudnya enggak kayak sabar ganti baju dulu, enggak.
Jadi
yang
dipakai
gitu.
sekarang aja.
Iya, benar.
Percuma foto di tempat bagus. Tempatnya kalah bagus sama kamu. Wah. Gue pengen tahu sih sebenarnya Instagram posting-postingnya Anastasia Kosasi sebelum jadi Anastasia Kosasi yang sudah tidak digembok lagi tuh kayak gimana gitu. Berarti dalam berpakaian juga kamu sebenarnya pakai senyamannya aja?
Senyamannya aja sih, emang style begini.
Emang style gini?
Iya. Dan kalau misalnya
Kapan foto yang mulai nggak digembok?
ini nih yang bau-bau udah, ini nggak digembok. Ini digembok.
Ini masih digembok?
Ini kayaknya udah mulai, ini yang mulai nggak digembok ini.
Oh. Nah ini foto belakang ini udah mulai di.
Enggak, ini
digembok
baru-baru
nggak?
ini. Ini baru-baru inilah.
Tapi hatiku seperti digembok melihat fotonya. Oh, ini baru-baru ini.
Ya ini baru-baru ini.
Baru-baru ini. Oke. Next. Ini botak.
Foto pakai bikini tuh di kolam renang biasa aja gak sih?
Biasa aja, kecuali
Iya.
kalau pakai jaket army
Iya,
baru
kalau pakai jaket kan.
Iya, baru salah.
Gak ada salahnya, gak ada salah pada tempatnya. Iya.
Nah, ini di
Oh, ini di Bali, di Bali,
Di
di
Bali
Bali.
ya, di supermarket ya. Ini abang-abangnya sengaja disamarkan apa ketutupan LE aja?
Ketutupan. Maksudnya kalau di Jakarta nggak mungkin gua pakai begini juga.
Iya.
Iya, atau tempat juga.
Ada tan line dong pasti nanti di Jakarta, panas banget.
Iya.
Terus
Ini lagi di beach club. Jadi sebenarnya pakai
Biasa
baju
juga.
juga pada tempatnya. Kayak maksudnya kalau di mall gua pakai bikini itu kan baru kayak
Aneh. Jangan di mall, ntar di pinggir jalan aja ditangkap kok. Ya nggak boleh karena tidak sesuai. Kalau di beach club nggak apa-apa kan?
nggak apa-apa karena kan itu emang buat berenang juga.
Oke. Trafficnya bagus banget ya. Dengan likes yang banyak banget juga. Berarti lo menyadari bahwa, sorry ya, Tasya,
Iya.
aset lo bagus dong untuk I think aset the whole you ya.
Enggak gini. Karena kayak udah dikasih kayak begini ya terima aja gak sih daripada kayak kita minder gitu.
Iya, benar.
Kayak
Ya lu pede sama badan
mau
lu sama diri
bentuk
lu.
lu kayak gimana pun ya emang harus pede gak sih?
Iya.
Iya kan?
Lu olahraga nggak?
Dulu sempet olahraga tapi sekarang udah enggak sih.
Udah nggak?
Enggak.
Terus ngejaga shape untuk tetap jadi kayak gitu? Atau emang badan lo emang kayak gitu aja? Mau makan berapa banyak pun apa segitu?
Iya maksudnya paling makan sih, diatur sih. Diet maksudnya nggak makan banyak-banyak banget. Kayak kalau misalnya udah malam jangan makan lah gitu.
Oh.
Tapi nggak yang diet ketat juga sih.
Hmm.
Emang udah begini juga.
Diet ketat, ngerti nggak Bon? Diet ketat Bon.
Diet ketat penting.
Nasinya dikasih legging.
Nggak gitu.
Oke, kuliah tapi udah beres belum?
Belum, tapi udah cabut.
Serius lo?
Serius, ada alasannya.
Sayang kali.
Ya,
Ada
kenapa sayang?
alasannya, sabar.
Kenapa sayang lu?
Maksudnya kenapa cabut kuliah kan sayang gitu.
Iya, Mak.
Iya, maksud kata-kata gue
Iya.
gitu.
Karena gini loh, kalau misalnya sekarang aku masih ngelanjutin kuliah aku dengan pekerjaan aku yang sekarang, nanti dua-duanya malah nggak kekejar.
Gak kejar.
Maksudnya nanti kuliah aku pas-pasan,
Ya.
kerjaan aku juga pas-pasan,
Ya.
mending aku, misalnya ini kan momentum kan namanya kalau pekerjaan kayak aku gini kan, katanya itu momentum. Maksudnya lagi momentumnya lagi bagus, ya udah aku fokusin, nanti kalau misalnya mau kuliah lagi tinggal kuliah lagi gitu.
Oke. Yakin nggak untuk punya switch start lagi? Karena susah loh biasanya orang kuliah.
Jujur susah sih.
Susah banget.
Cuman ya one day mungkin nanti kuliah lagi untuk title aja sih sebenarnya.
Ya terserah sih.
Ya itu maksudnya hak masing-masing juga kan.
Ambil apa sih waktu itu?
International Business and Management.
Sama dong.
Masa sih,
Kayak vokalis
Bon?
Acel, vokalis saya enggak, dia kuliahnya
Oh.
gitu dulu.
Acel kuliahnya itu, Cel?
Iya, tapi di US ya, Pak.
Oh,
Di Amerika?
Di Amerika.
Serius lo?
Sempat, iya.
Itu sebelum lo...
Nggak usah ditebut, Pak.
Jadi
Ada.
di Amerika 2 minggu, RSKO-nya 1 bulan.
Dari SKO 1 bulan. Oke, kalau ngomongin masalah endorsement, you gain that much dari Instagram lu?
lumayan.
Hundreds? Nyampe lah ya?
Nyampe
Ya average nyampe,
lah.
sebulan nyampe lah?
Gak apa-apa ngomong di sini
Nggak
ya?
apa-apa.
Iya
Nyampe?
sih.
Nyampe. Nggak apa-apa, santai aja. Gua nggak tahu ya orang pajak nonton apa enggak.
Iya. Ini bercanda kok, bercanda.
Enggak bercanda. Buat kebutuhan konten doang, Pak, Bu. Ya.
Biar rame aja.
Iya, nonton Mas Deddy Kobuzir aja yang lebih lama. Iya. Oke, pertama kali terima endorsement apa?
Dulu tuh pertama kali makanan.
Mana? Keripik-keripik pedes gitu.
Bukan kayak rice bowl gitu.
Oke.
Iya.
Lu
Itu
inget nggak waktu itu berapa?
inget murah banget sumpah.
Berapa? Dengan followers lu berapa, lu dibayar berapa dan kontennya apa aja?
Dulu tuh followersnya kayak kalau nggak salah 30k baru buka
30.000,
endorsement.
oke.
Terus endorsementnya makanan. Kalau nggak salah dulu dibayar 50.000 doang.
Hah?
Iya.
50.000.
Feeds dapat feeds sama story lagi.
Dapat feed sama story 50.000.
Hah, kenapa sayang?
Kenapa sayang? Apa lo?
Maksud gua kenapa?
Cari-cari kesempatan terus lu ya.
Maksud gua kenapa harus 50.000 kan sayang banget bisa
Oh, gitu.
nangkanya budgetnya, iya.
Iya.
Maksud gua
Karena
sih.
dulu belum ngerti juga loh, kalau sekarang kan kayak kita ngeriset juga kayak kalau yang followersnya segini, engagementnya sama, kurang lebih itu berapa sih rate-nya gitu. Terus nanti kita ganti-ganti sendiri.
Oh gitu.
Kalau dulu kan kayak masih sendiri, masih nge-handle sendiri, jadi kayak ya udahlah berapa ya segini aja deh gitu. Kayak ngasih harga asal aja, karena kan juga dulu tuh belum ada niat untuk kerja kayak gini.
Oh gitu.
Jadi iseng-iseng.
Iseng-iseng. Sampai akhirnya sekarang udah tahu harganya.
Iya sekarang udah tahu harganya.
Udah
dan
mahal. Lu
Lumayan.
pilih-pilih nggak sih produknya?
Pilih-pilih.
Oh ya? Kan kemarin sempat rame banyak orang-orang yang mengiklankan sesuatu yang nggak dia pakai gitu.
Oh iya.
Lu
Banyak.
pilih-pilih juga?
Pilih-pilih juga lah.
Karena kan
Kalau
gimana?
dulu nggak pilih-pilih.
Oh ya?
Dulu pas followersnya kayak masih 100K-an gitu nggak pilih-pilih karena kan dulu belum berpengalaman. Jadi mikir ya udah terima. Tapi makin kesini ya makin pilih-pilih karena kan pekerjaannya juga udah dapet lah. Jadi
Ada yang aneh nggak sih Tas?
ada yang aneh.
Apa?
Apa barangnya?
Produknya.
Produknya.
Sorry, temen gue pernah ditawarin parfum buat itu soal.
Oh iya.
Serius?
tahu. Apa ya? Aneh sih nggak ada yang aneh banget sih. Paling kayak
Produknya apa?
apa sih?
Pelincah lidah gitu misalkan. Buat orang-orang yang mau public speaking tapi susah jadi
Oh,
lidahnya
bisa.
biar lincah pakai produk itu gitu.
Enggak.
Biar lancar.
Iya,
Paling
biar-
yang kayak tau gak sih yang jamu perapet misfi gitu-gitu lah.
jamu perapet.
Apa sih?
Oh,
Jamu rapet itu loh.
Sari rapet.
Iya gak tahu gue apa.
Jamu buat ngerapetin.
Iya. Paling kayak gitu sih.
Ngerapetin vagina.
Iya
Oh,
itu.
iya.
Yang
Ada
kayak
jamu-
herbal
ada.
gitu.
Herbal iya.
Herbal ya.
Ada yang di ini kok gue jadi tahu ya. Ada yang diminum, itu emang herbal gitu.
Iya, diminum,
ada yang diminum,
diminum,
ada yang buat basuh-basuh, dibasuh-basuh. Gitu, iya benar.
Tahu banget ya kayaknya.
Iya, masa direndam? Lu depan TV pakai ember gitu gini nih. Tapi beneran. Waktu kita di komen ya, waktu itu siapa gitu ya bintang tamu, dia ditawarin parfum buat vagina.
Tapi emang ada. Lagi
Ada.
rame juga di TikTok tuh.
Oh ya? Terus yang di-endorse apa? Tutorial gitu? Hai
Enggak,
guys,
paling-
aku mau kasih tahu cara pakai.
Enggak sih, paling kayak ini nih bisa begini gitu gak sih?
Iya. Oke, Tasya, sorry gue nanya nih. Sekarang kan lagi banyak banget sexual harassment ya. Menurut lo ya, sexual harassment itu dari ceweknya yang berpakaian seksi atau memang mentalitas si cowok-cowoknya aja yang
Enggak lah, kalau dari pakaian itu enggak ngaruh lah. Jadi gini, kalau misalnya deh kakak nih contohnya. Kakak misalnya ngeliat cewek pakaiannya terbuka seksi.
Oke.
Emang kakak langsung ngelecehin dia?
enggak?
Enggak kan, paling kalau mikir kayak oh dia seksi itu wajar.
Iya.
Tapi kalau misalnya sampai ngelecehin, sampai bertindak, kan itu nggak wajar.
Iya.
Bener gak?
Iya.
Ya itu aja.
Sampai mana lu bisa
Sampai mana lu bisa mengontrol diri lu? Kayak
Oke.
menurut aku kalau misalnya kayak lu cuma ngelihat dia terus lu mikir kayak oh dia seksi, badannya bagus.
Oke, berarti even though ceweknya nggak seksi, kalau emang dasar cowoknya pada
Iya,
bablas ya bablas
bener.
aja gitu.
Kayak banyak kan kayak cewek pakai kaos aja tuh masih kena sexual harassment.
Kamu
Kayak-
pernah ngalamin itu nggak?
Pernah lah, kayak misalnya aku pakai kaos oversize nih, tetap aja di catcall.
Oh ya?
Iya,
Dia kiu gitu.
iya kayak gitu. Jadi maksudnya kayak nggak menjamin lah, nggak ada korelasinya pakaian sama itu. Menurut aku sih kalau kayak gitu.
Nggak ada korelasinya juga. Termasuk di sosial media. Orang-orang itu kan banyak yang komen aneh-aneh, bahkan katanya gue ngobrol sama teman-teman yang lain juga bintang tamu gue sebelumnya pernah dikirimin foto-foto
Oh iya banyak sih.
kemaluannya gitu-gitu. Ada juga kalau lu?
Ada, maksudnya kayak bisa dilihat kan dari situ kayak dia buat apa kirim kayak gitu, padahal dia tahu nggak bakal direspon. Emang mereka pengen ngelakuin gara-gara mereka seneng aja kan? Padahal kan
Sampai
mereka nggak bisa ngontrol diri gitu aja intinya.
sampai separah itu.
Iya.
Atau pernah nggak yang secara langsung sampai megang tangan lo
Oh
atau
enggak, kalau langsung pernah sih, tapi kayak dia kayak kasih lihat video bokep gitu.
Hah?
Jadi gini lagi jalan.
Lagi jalan.
Terus ada orang kayak mau nunjukin sesuatu, video bokep.
Oh ya?
Iya.
Tiba-tiba ngasih
Terus
lu video
dia jalan lagi terus. Kayak nggak jelas gitu kan?
ngasih lu tiba-tiba video
Iya,
bokep.
ngasih kayak tiba-tiba.
Udah gitu pakai iPad lagi gede banget.
Pakai HP kecil ya.
Sur, iPad-nya 12 inci. Terus
Udah gitu video bokepnya resolusinya jelek lagi.
pixel semua.
Serem banget deh. Tapi cowok, menurut lo cowok juga dapat sexual harassment nggak sih?
Bisa lah. Kan sexual harassment nggak memandang gender juga. Bisa
Oke,
dua-duanya.
lo pernah tahu ada cowok dapat sexual harassment?
Pernah kayak misalnya kayak banyak juga kan cowok yang kayak di catcall gitu. Kayak sama aja sebenarnya itu sexual harassment.
Cewek-cewek tuh kalau lagi nongkrong tuh kayak kita nggak sih? Kayak lagi ngobrol-ngobrol tiba-tiba cewek cakep gitu.
Enggak semua tapi ada lah yang kayak gitu.
Ada yang kayak gitu?
Ada.
Tapi tongkrongan lo enggak?
Enggak sih.
Enggak ya?
Enggak.
Oh. Iya.
Biasa aja sih.
Soalnya cowok-cowok tuh suka kayak gitu kadang-kadang. Tuh ada cewek cakep tuh kita lagi nongkrong gitu di kafe, ada cewek cakep tuh siapa yang ngelepak duluan gua kasih 1 juta dia bilang.
Waduh.
Terus ceweknya lagi jalan, iya gitu.
Refleks, langsung refleks.
Itu termasuk sexual harassment nggak ya?
Iya, kayaknya.
Karena kan kita tidak melecehkan, kita ngelepak, sama aja. Oke, lo pernah ada yang lo terusin nggak? Dapat DM kayak gitu atau dapat komen-komen kayak gitu untuk lo
Enggak
akhirnya
lah.
lo investigasi, lo cari tahu orangnya, lo pengen
Enggak. Karena gini, kalau misalnya dia kayak gitu, terus kita ladenin, dia pasti makin seneng gak sih?
Mungkin.
Pastilah, pasti makin seneng lah. Maksudnya kayak di
Karena
notice aja dia udah seneng.
ada beberapa orang yang menjadikan dirinya haters biar dapat tanggapan, cuma dapat tanggapan.
Nah benar, jadi kayak ya udah misalnya udah dibaca ya udah didiamin aja.
Lo punya haters?
Punya lah, punya.
How do you know? Lo bacain komen itu?
Ya kadang DM, komen, kalau misalnya lagi kebaca,
Apa yang paling bikin lo sakit hati?
nggak ada sih. Karena gini loh, namanya haters di sosial media kan itu dia cuma tahu aku dari sosial media kan. Jadi ya omongan dia nggak valid lah. Kan dia cuma nilai dari yang apa dia lihat.
Penilaian dia.
Iya, kecuali orang yang nge-hate orang yang terdekat aku, berarti yang omongan dia bisa jadi bener nih. Jadi aku kepikiran, oh mungkin yang dia omongin bener. Cuman
Ada
kalau
yang kayak gitu? Nggak ada?
Nggak ada sih. Maksudnya tapi kalau kayak orang cuman stranger yang di internet gitu ya udah itu pendapat dia nggak apa-apa.
Karena yang biasanya ngirim guna-guna itu orang dekat. Setiap kita nanya ke orang pintar, Pak siapa yang ngirim? Ah orang dekat nih. Katanya. Itu template men, pasti orang dekat pasti yang itu. Iya. Sekarang Tasya punya cowok baru.
Ya.
Yang itu, bukan yang itu.
Iya benar.
Iya. Lu berapa lama pacaran? Baru-baru. ini?
Kalau kenal udah lama, cuman kalau pacarannya baru
Oke.
2 bulan.
Baru tadi jam 2 kalau nggak salah pacaran. Kejadian di Kopitiam.
Cepet aja.
Mau nggak jadi pacaran kayak gitu? Iya.
Jadinya tadi pas di briefing.
Bisa tidak sesuai venue ya jadinya pas briefing. Oke, ada tanggapan nggak dari cowok lo dengan,
Iya. Kok musiknya sedih sih?
Gak apa-apa. Kalau mau nangis aja. Kalau mau
Enggak.
dibantu nangis nggak? Siapa tahu butuh frame nangis kan?
Ya maksudnya kalau ada lah tanggapan ada, cuman dia support aja sih, kecuali kalau misalnya yang terlalu nyeleneh gitu ya enggak.
Terlalu seksi gitu menurut dia. Ada nggak kayak?
Bukan terlalu seksi.
Foto ini di tackle dong, aku nggak suka kamu.
Enggak kayak gitu, maksudnya kayak misalnya tadi sebelum kesini briefing, pasti kayak dikasih tau, dia kayak ngingetin aja sih. Kayak inget ya kalau ada yang gimana jangan mau gitu.
Ada yang gimana?
Ya maksudnya kalau misalnya di grading atau apapun itu, dia kayak ngasih tau gitu, tapi aku juga udah tahu. Dia
Oh.
ngingetin, paling gitu sih.
Terus sekarang jadi streamer,
Iya talent streamer.
talent streamer game.
Hmm.
Terus apa tadi satu lagi? Selain streamer lu terafiliasi sama sama tim gitu. Karena sekarang banyak yang jadi brand ambassador.
Oh iya benar. Jadi tim juga.
Jadi tim juga, masuk tim juga.
Masuk tim e-sport.
Masuk tim e-sport. Oke, yang dicari sama tim e-sport itu bukan hanya yang jagonya kan? Maksudnya bukan hanya pro player.
Kalau pro player kan ada divisi pro player. Kalau aku bukan pro player
Ini
ya.
dalam bidang entertainment.
Entertainnya.
Oh gitu. Sekarang lu tim GPX, is it?
Benar.
Kalau di tim-tim gitu tuh ada bursa transfer streamer nggak sih? Kayak yang tadi jadi sini dideketin sama tim ini,
Ya,
terus pindah.
bisa.
Ada kayak gitu
Bisa,
juga?
ada.
Sorry ya, gue tanya agak personal. Itu dealsnya kontrak atau per shooting, per streaming?
Kontrak.
Kontrak per tahun, per 6 bulan gitu-gitu?
Iya kayak gitulah. Iya.
Ada list pekerjaan yang lo harus lakukan? Stream minimal sebulan
Oh, iya,
berapa kali
ada.
jadwal tayang. Untuk yang punya channel itu langsung dapat duitnya kayak ada beberapa aplikasi yang mereka dikasih bonus, dikasih
Iya.
apa segala macam.
Iya emang ada bonusnya juga. Kalau kayak di Nimotif itu ada.
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 Jadi lo once lo
Kayak
hit
ngejar target aja sih.
streamers jumlah numbersnya. Oh gitu caranya. Oke, lo emang tadinya main game atau karena ada tawaran ini baru lo main game?
Jadi kalau misalnya main game tuh dari dulu udah main game. Cuman karena ada tawarannya dan tawarannya good deals juga, jadi kayak why not gitu dijadiin duit juga.
Oke. Lo sadar berarti bahwa si entertainment ini memang
Lagi
naik
panas-panasnya
banget.
lah.
Iya,
di
lagi
Indo.
naik banget.
Iya.
Mereka lagi racing banget untuk dapetin.
Benar.
Sorry ya, cewek-cewek cakep untuk jadi entertainer games.
Iya.
Dan lo sadar yang ditonton adalah elunya, bukan games ya, bukan how you play the game. right?
Pas streaming. Ya kalau misalnya dibilang dia mau lihat gamenya kan aku cupu. Ya mungkin
Mobile Legends.
mungkin lebih ya mungkin mau lihat mukanya atau mau lihat kayak cara dia mainnya, tapi nggak mungkin kalau lihat skillnya enggak sih. Nggak
Nggak,
mungkin
nggak
karena
mungkin.
skillnya kan
Berarti
nggak jago.
berarti elunya.
Iya.
Oke. Kan lo sendirian nih main game. 1 jam berapa lama stream?
Kalau streaming tuh pokoknya sehari 4 jam lah ya.
4 jam.
4 jam.
Oke. 4 jam langsung straight.
Tapi kan enggak straight. Tapi kan main game tuh kalau 4 jam nggak berasa. Maksudnya lebih enjoy daripada yang kayak live show. Kalau live show, tau kan live show yang kayak di Bigo gitu?
Oh, oke.
Yang kayak cuman ngomong-ngomong. Kalau itu kan lebih berasa lama.
Gitu Bon, daripada
Emang
main
gitu,
drum.
Ada
Lah,
juga yang nyanyi gitu, ada juga Pak, cewek-cewek nyanyi yang live gitu, nyanyi main gitar.
Iya
Masa?
ada juga
Ada
live
juga,
show
ada.
itu namanya.
Iya.
live show.
Iya, nanti dikirimin gift gitu.
Gua tanya sama si Henry asisten gua live show-nya live show beda, Bro.
Ada banyak jenis sih live show.
Streamernya pakai masker kalau nggak pakai topeng yang di atas ini.
Terus nunggu giftnya penuh dulu baru ada.
Iya. Ada lagi sekarang lagi rame banget sumpah.
Iya bener.
Even mereka live
Iya bener live banyak.
ML gitu.
Iya, iya, bener.
Kalau
Iya.
kayak gitu di
Nggak,
ban,
mentalnya mereka.
di banned kan, dia tuh biasanya pindah ke Instagram.
Iya bener.
Maksudnya?
Jadi kalau kayak di,
Di platform?
platform live show-nya dia ketahuan misalnya dia ketahuan joget seksi atau apa itu kan bisa di banned. Jadi dia pindah ke Instagram biasanya. Kalau yang gift-nya banyak pindah ke Instagram ya private.
Berarti dia akan mengadakan show.
Di Instagram private-nya.
Iya.
Iya.
Di Instagram private.
Banyak yang kayak gitu.
Orang bayar
Bayar ke dia misalnya
untuk
nyawer.
di follow back,
Betul, bukan untuk di follow back, untuk di accept request.
untuk di accept requestnya. Berarti yang bisa nonton dia yang cuma yang di situ doang.
Iya, yang nyawer banyak doang.
Terus dia live di Instagram.
Bisa begitu. Live
Oh
di
iya?
Instagram.
Enggak pakai apa-apa.
Ya nggak tahu. Ya mungkin.
Kadang-kadang ada MC-nya Pak.
Ah,
Serius, ini saya
kita
nggak-
lihat saudara. Kita lihat ya. Iya.
Bukan gitu konsepnya. Jadi layarnya kebelah dua, yang sebelah tuh yang oke
Sumpah,
sebentar
masa
aja.
sih? Kayak
Sebentar
tahu
lagi
banget
akan
ya.
mulai.
Si Boni yang
Kamu jadi ketahu.
Gua kasih tau, gua nggak tahu sumpah.
Enggak nanti
Iya,
ya, layarnya kebelah dua kan.
Layarnya kebelah dua.
Ya nanti yang sebelah MC-nya oke sebentar lagi kita akan mulai. Ayo dong semua.
Kita akan
masuk dulu,
mulai.
masuk
Ayo
dulu ya.
untuk ngumpulin si ininya, ngumpulin hadiah-hadiahnya,
Iya,
Bon.
pada masuk dulu gitu. Yang sebelahnya mah shootnya gambar tempat tidurnya aja dulu gitu.
Tempat tidur.
Iya.
Tapi gini deh, kalau lu ngasih gift itu berarti dia harus bayar ya?
Iya itu bisa dicairin jadi duit beneran.
Oh iya? Gak maksud gue gini, gue yang nonton nih, gue mau ngasihkan ada giftnya, ada beda-beda tuh ada
Mobil,
ada kembang, ada
iya, iya.
bunga, ada kembang lagi gue orang duluan, ada bunga, ada mobil, ada motor,
benar,
itu
benar.
setiap itemnya itu ada harganya.
Ada harganya.
Jadi berarti gue harus beli dulu giftnya.
Harus beli diamond dulu biasanya.
Beli
buat
diamond.
beli giftnya.
Oke,
Sih.
kayak Diamond Mobile Legends gitu lah kan?
Iya
Lo bisa
benar.
pakai kartu kredit
benar,
gitu kan?
benar. Kayak gitu.
Terus akhirnya mereka yang nonton nyawer gitu.
Iya nyawer. Ya nyawer aja.
Iya. Baru tahu gue. Berarti ada MC-nya dan mereka
Itu beda lagi.
Kayaknya kedepannya ada Hobbit kali.
peo.
Selamat malam, berjumpa lagi.
Jebret. Gokil. Hati-hati banget ya dan kayak gitu-gitu tuh nggak pakai VPN nggak sih? Gitu-gitu.
Kalau
Pakai.
di platform live show-nya nggak usah pakai VPN lah kan dia nggak ngapa-ngapain.
Soalnya gua pernah lihat rekaman yang sampai ML
Masa
gitu
sih?
loh.
Wah kalau itu gue nggak tahu deh. Maksudnya aku nggak tahu mungkin itu platform lain kali ya yang lebih.
Platform beda kali ya.
Yang lebih.
Bon, ada kan Bon yang sampai ML kan Bon?
Banyak Pak, banyak banget.
Kenapa lo ngomongnya banyak? Lo tahu semua dong.
Ada juga nanti lo bayar, nanti dibikin grup
Tahu
Telegram
banget
gitu,
tuh ya.
nanti di-share di situ.
Oh, lo bikin grup
Iya
Telegram.
nanti tuh banyak yang ketawa tuh, banyak yang enggak berarti. Nanti lo daftar bayar 35.000.
Jos, lo juga gitu ya, Jos? Oh, ajan sopolos lu Jos lu. Gue tahu-tahu gituan dari Peri Mariadi. Oke, seru banget ngobrol sama Tasya ya. Ternyata banyak banget yang bisa digali dari, ternyata sosial media segitunya. Gila, jadi gimana lo mau positif bisa jadi positif banget, bisa jadi duit, bisa jadi sumber pendapatan. Tapi kalau mau negatif bisa jadi negatif banget, as in ya sampai yang kayak gitu-gitu.
Jadi kayak pembawaan diri aja sih, pintar-pintar bawa diri aja mau kemana arahnya.
Pintar-pintar bawa diri kemana arahnya. Dan inget ya, udah ada pasalnya, jangan catcalling, ya.
Benar.
Ya jangan, iya nggak sih?
Iya benar.
Udah ada pasalnya kan?
Udah sih. Kalau yang sexual harassment gitu ya ada lah.
Bisa aja kan kalau misalkan lo di catcalling sama cowok-cowok.
Kita nggak terima gitu.
Lo nggak terima terus lo videoin, terus lo bawa itu ke polisi, bisa ditahan kan? Bisa. Tuh Boni.
Vokalis saya ini Pak, parah Pak. Acel sering tuh kayak gitu-gituin cewek.
Acel nih kebiasaan. Kiu, taunya lagi main kiu dia. Oke, kalau gitu thank you.
Oke, thank you Kak. Thank you ya.
Mudah-mudahan
thank you semuanya.
karirnya meneroket terus, followersnya makin banyak,
Amin.
like-nya makin banyak. Terima kasih banyak buat hari ini. Jangan lupa like,
Makasih.
subscribe, dan komen. Sampai ketemu lagi di Talkpod. Bye.
It's taken me a long time to be able to actually say I love my job. I love my fucking job. And I can't pick which show I like to do better. All right. The Patreon is the honeydew with y'all. And y'all have the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. It's $5 a month. And if you sign up for a year, you get over a month free. All right. And you get the honeydew a day early, ad free, no additional cost. All right. If you or someone you know has that story, submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll get to do an episode together, all right? You know what we do over here. We highlight the lowlights. I like to find a little bit of light in the darkness. And today's guest here, first time on the Honeydew, very excited to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ryan Long. Welcome to the Honeydew, Ryan.
We got a couple Ryans rocking out here in LA.
Yeah. I appreciate you being here.
You kind of look like a little... Like we could be in the same family too. You look like my brother a little.
Do I?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like Reynolds. There's a lot of Ryans and they all kind of got the same look around here.
You got the eyes. We have the eyes.
Yeah, you got the same eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Thank you for doing the show. I've never even met you before.
Yeah,
so I was
first
stoked.
time.
Yeah, I asked around. A lot of people volunteered information about you being a good dude. So I was like, all right, let's have fun. So,
dude, that's one thing I found about America. When I came here, people were cool, man. It's that's one thing that's better about America than where I'm from, Toronto, because it's smaller. Everyone here is very much more like down to help out, and they want to, people see people that they think is cool, and they go, oh, I want to like work with that guy, connect with that. Whereas where I'm from, it's more like, who's this guy trying to show up and steal stuff?
I don't feel like it's always been like that, but you're right. Lately, especially, like there's
Since
a lot
everyone
of
left the industry.
Yeah, I mean, people are really reaching down and pulling each other up and pushing people in the look. If you've been in the game long enough and you're out for something and you know damn well it's not right for you, why not? You're like, who'd be great for that? This person. You don't need to be in everything. Sometimes you're in everything at the detriment of your shit. You know what I mean? Like, I like to just produce stuff. Like, I'm not right for that.
Yeah.
But I got the right mindset for that. I just don't think I'd be good in that.
I know. It's a huge tweak I feel like you can make in your own self when you see something good or someone doing something good and it kind of jazzes you up as opposed to makes you mad. I feel like that little tweak.
Fuck yeah, that magic is back. Like you see that person's getting it. Yeah,
you get, oh, hell yeah.
All right, well, before I get to know you a little better here, please plug, promote anything you'd like.
Yeah, man, I do a podcast called The Boys Cast with Ryan Long every Friday and patreon.com/The Boys Cast. YouTube.com/Ryan Long Comedy. I do a video sketch every Monday and then a street interview every Wednesday. And I got 2 specials, comedy specials out there, and one coming out in mid-January too. So check it out.
Tell me about the street interviews. What is that all about?
So I came. I was like when I was like 12 even. I was the biggest like Tom Green guy. So I feel like me and everyone we
You're
knew.
Canadian,
we were all doing an impression of Tom at the time, right? But I did, so I had this, I used to do all these DVDs. I was in this band and we did all these DVDs messing with people. Even before when you couldn't put them on the internet, straight up just cutting them to show your friends and stuff like that. And I was doing all sorts of that stuff. I did a few TV shows doing that kind of stuff in Canada, messing around with people. And then when I moved here, that was the first thing I was like, you know what? I don't really know anyone. I don't have a crew anymore. I was like, that's the one thing I could do super easy. So I just started kind of doing the stuff I've been doing in Canada on my YouTube channel here, and it kind of a lot of stuff was going viral and stuff.
So go back to the beginning. You're from Canada. Where? Toronto?
I'm from Ajax, right outside of Toronto, which is
Okay.
Sum 41. Snow went to my high school.
The rapper?
Informer. I got a good Snow story, by the way. If you
Tell
want.
him, please. My buddy and I used to still 12 inches. What is it? 12 inches of snow and rising, isn't
Yeah,
it?
dude,
It is, right?
He had some stuff that didn't age well, either legal, tender, and fine.
I don't know. I only know that
Oh,
one
you know this
song.
one? He goes, legal, tender, and fine. And the idea is like she turned 18 yesterday.
Oh my God. I remember the one video, Informer, on MTV down
Informer
here.
was
And we used to
big.
be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he went to Pickering High for a second. But so he was my friend, Danny Polshek, who I do all this stuff with. He's on my podcast and stuff. And we did, he made a movie that I kind of helped write on, and I was in it a little bit, but it's his thing. And they wanted to put Snow the Rapper in it because he was on this TV show they did, blah, blah, right? So the premise was they had this character and they're like, Snow would be hilarious for it. And the bit was one of the tiny things he did was Snow talks to the cops in one of the scenes. And he goes, listen, I want to do this, but I can't do any role where I would talk to the cops because I would never inform, even in a movie. And he's like, my boys, like, that's what it is. That's my brand, that I don't talk to the cops. And they're like, yeah, I think they'll get that it's like a character.
He was so worried.
Dude, he doesn't even inform. And like, even like his
Even
boy-
acting like
yeah,
it.
like his friends are gonna be like, "Hey, what's this? We hear about you talking to the cops?" And he goes, "It's a movie." They go, "We don't." You know, he couldn't talk to the cops.
He stayed true all the way, man.
This is 25 years ago. This song came out.
12 inches of snow.
Yeah, he's gonna start getting booed at his shows
Oh,
now. Like
shit.
this is how he's living, right?
But the fact that you have to say Snow the Rapper, when you have to throw the rapper on, like, Chance is different. This guy was called the Rapper at first because nobody knew who the fuck that guy was.
Yeah.
What's Snow? What are you talking about? The Rapper.
I guess the reggae guy, really. He just started doing a reggae accent and then popped off.
Man. So, all right.
Yeah.
Ajax outside of
A
Toronto.
little suburb. I was a little skateboard forming band,
Okay.
standard kind of, you know.
What were your parents like? What did they do for a living?
So my dad, they owned some music stores, and then
Okay, so
so it's
that's where it
my
comes from.
grandfather does, and then my dad.
That's what we're
he
in right
worked-
now.
he was
Santa
there,
Monica
yeah.
Music Center.
Yeah,
This kind of
yeah,
music
yeah.
store?
Yeah, so it's a
Or
music
like record
family
store?
No, like instruments.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so him and like my family's all very musical. Me and
Okay.
a lot of the cousins aren't involved. Things fall apart at the third generation usually. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's because
It is that generation.
It is. Every company like that. Well, but if your dad starts something and he wants you to take it over, you're kind of like, I could make this my thing. If it was already someone else already did that, you can't really make it your thing. So all you can do is if people want third generation to sort of get involved in the thing, I feel like these days you really just have to make them a piece of shit where you go, you know what, we'll just give you way too much money for this. So no one really wanted to do that. No one wants to do it. So none of us are really that involved. But that's that. And then my mom grew up in the projects, the hood. Yeah.
What's the projects? And
projects like Ontario House? And,
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild family. My mom's like just Irish fucking trash, right? Dude.
Are you close with your mom?
Yeah, she's the best, dude.
all right, okay. Just wanna
Dude, my
make sure.
mom's, she's like, it comes out every now and then where something will happen and she's like very nice lady until something like, she gets like, what the fuck, you want to come at me? And we're like, what is this? And we go, all right, that's the hood. But like, this is the kind of way she grew up. Like her two brothers both died of like heroin and, you know, in and out of pretty wild stuff, right? He was like the one would kind of go to my grandmother's house, like steal everything, like all the classic problems. But you know, and then her other two brothers, they have their life together and they have jobs, and the other two are dead now, and that's kind of what it was, right?
Did you ever meet them or are they gone?
Yeah,
before?
yeah.
You did.
One had my one uncle that he died first. He had a skullet. Like straight up, like he kind of looked like me, like for real. He kind of looked like me,
But bald up here and just
Bald.
all hair.
yeah, yeah.
Like Ben Franklin.
Proper too. He wasn't messing around where it's like a little bit. This was cultivated. He'd have a hat on, the hat come off, everyone go, "Oh wow, woo!" he was a wild man.
Did you ever? How old was he when you passed?
I think probably 4 years ago, and then
Oh wow, that's
I got
that
a
long
joke.
ago.
This is a joke. I won't tell the joke version, but it is real. So my uncle, he died, right? My grandmother was like kind of getting dementia. So when he died, it was very like, do we tell her? Do you tell her that her son's dead? And my mom was kind of, her idea was, you know what? She's not really all there. She might die soon. Let's not. So we didn't tell her. Then she kind of started getting better. Like she.
Oh no.
For real.
What's his name?
Mike.
She's like, "Where's Mike?"
That's
Mike's not
for
coming.
real. And she, but my mom was set on it.
That is terrible.
Dude, my mom was set on it too. Because there was some disagreement on
I'm sure.
whether or not, you know.
All right, she's getting better. We gotta say something. We
And
ain't
my
saying
mom's-
shit. Your mom's like, anybody says shit, you shut the fuck.
That's
Oh,
what
there's the hood
happened.
again.
She was very like, I wish a motherfucker would cross me.
We can dig 2 holes, motherfucker. We can dig 2 holes.
Yeah, you want to join him? That's what she's like.
Oh,
She goes, you want
that is
fucking
terrible. So what happens?
So, well, it's the story ended positively because she's dead too. So it worked itself out. My mom was right.
Your mom's in there with a pillow like, I gotta end this tonight.
Yeah, I think she was right. But it went on for 2 or 3 years.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Where there was family things, and she's still like, she'd pop back in sometimes and be like, he never visits me anymore. And this is a joke, but I would be like, we'd have to be like, that piece of shit.
Yeah, right.
He's dead to us.
Yeah, he's dead to us.
Dude,
Now,
it's
what about
wild.
your other uncle?
He died probably 10 years ago.
And do you
Yeah.
remember him as well?
Yeah, it was kind of a wild thing where for real,
Made my face twitch, bro.
dude, it was one of those things where I don't know if you have this as much here, but like, you know, he would people in the family would legitimately run into this guy and he'd be begging for change outside of a like beer store or whatever, and you'd see him. My brother, I remember he was on a date with some chick he started dating, and he's going to get beer, and it's like, Uncle Ray, like, you know, they see each other and it's Evan, what? Oh, and you're just like, and it's one of those things where,
Man.
you know, it's anyone who's been in that situation, like obviously the instinct is like, well, you have money, give him money. But he's like, doesn't work like that. You give him money and the money's gone. And then they're this a week later, you know? So it's a weird situation. And you like, oh, you come stay with us for a bit. And it's like, you know, then they're gone and your stuff's gone. It's a situation.
That's got to be trippy to see your own relative in the streets begging for money.
It's tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's mostly it's toughest for her. And I think a lot of people in the family also have some anger, like especially my other uncles. You know, I don't know how you are like with the relationship exactly with your mom, but imagine you had a brother that came and like she's like she don't have that much money, she's on like a pension or whatever, and then your brother comes and like steals her last little bit of money. Like they're some of them is a little like, he ever shows his face around here, he better fucking stay on the streets.
Yeah.
If he, so it's a lot of it's a tense situation kind of all around, and no one knows what to do about it. There isn't a good answer to those things when people are addicted to crack, you know?
So your mom had 4 brothers
Yeah.
and her, or their sisters too?
Yeah, 4 brothers, no sisters.
And so she still has 2 that are alive still.
yeah.
They all get along.
The 2 everyone that's
Yeah.
alive still gets along well.
I mean,
yeah.
I get it, man. Your mom does come from, it sounds like a hard upbringing. Look, I'm guilty of this myself. Like I have to learn a little bit more patience, I think, because I forget not everybody grew up the way I grew up, and my tolerance for bullshit is 0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this person over here, but I'm running it through my filter.
Yeah.
This person, that my dumb thing that I think is dumb, it might be wrecking them. And I'm over there like, what the fuck's the big deal? You know what I mean? Because I got to learn to be probably a little more sensitive, but I can't help it. It's just, I feel like I'll always have my shoulders up.
I think that's like one of those things that helps you for everything, where you go, just remember, not only do people see the same world as you, but like even on top of that, be like, remember that not everyone wants the same shit as you. Like how many times have you, you're like in entertainment, you're doing well. Like how many times in your life have you been working with someone where you're like, yo, what the, and like, they don't want to take over the world the same way you might.
Right.
Like, so you keep putting your shit on them. There's like, why doesn't this guy want to work 16 hours a day? It's like, because they don't care about this that much. Like some people's goals might be, all right, I just want to like have, make a decent living, have my family, like watch TV, have a free time. And like, that might be actually the smarter of the two. Like your way might actually be
I say all the time, I just want to go cut the fucking grass.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like people ask me on the road, like, it's so cool what you do. I'm like, what do you do? And like, I don't know. What are you doing this weekend? I don't know. Sunday, I'm just going to cut the grass. I'm like, a riding mower? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, how much I'd love to just fucking cut the grass.
Just chill.
Just cut the grass.
Just
have a
rock
beer,
out.
throw some music
some tunes,
on.
a white beater?
And just fucking
Smoke
cut
a
the
cig?
grass.
You don't
like
even
it's
smoke?
a ride. Yeah, I just start smoking.
Start smoking for the
In my
mo.
40s.
Dip and chew and smoking just to fucking get the full experience.
I would love to. Yeah, grass
Got a
is always
patch on,
greener.
why not?
That's what they say. But I read a quote recently. It said the grass is always greener where you water it, not the other side, where you fucking water it.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so that's your mom. Tell me about your dad.
Yeah, pretty. My dad's a good dad. He's like we were big. I was very much.
I'm sorry. Is his family the music store?
Yeah, they got the music stores. Almost everyone's musical. Like my grandma and my grandfather started this little jazz band, and they're in like the Music Hall of Fame and stuff like that.
No shit.
Yeah, Jack Long Trio, and my grandmother plays. So like at my family gatherings, they get the band. They legitimately have they have a music setup where the gatherings are, and everyone plays music and. They do. My grandmother plays piano. My grandpa plays trumpet, and they get the band back together, and everyone goes up and sings. And people are very talented in that family. Like my cousin, just Emily Long. She just did the top musician in Canada under 20 or something like that.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Like all this stuff, and there's a lot of very talented people in that family. Yeah.
What do you play instruments?
So I was probably. Which is the funny part. I don't think I'm the most talented, but I was probably the most successful musician in the family. Because when I was a kid, I started this band called the Johnstones. And then by the time I was like in first year college, we were...
Wait, how old were you when you started the band then?
Wow.
High school,
13,
16?
14.
That early, okay.
Yeah, then, then they all, when you're a band kid, you're just going to have a bunch of bands and then one kind of sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this one band that stuck. We were kind of doing well by grade 12. By like first year college, we were like on MTV and... We had a bunch of hits on the countdown, and we were selling tickets and doing all this stuff. So I feel like a lot of the things that I know now, I like learned from a ton of the mistakes that I made like the first round. The first round's rough. Like when you see people hitting the first round at 35 and you go, you could have used a round at 20.
Yeah, I could have used all kinds of rounds earlier on.
There's so much stuff that is happening now that I'm like, nah, I've been through this already. I know who to listen to. I know when to listen to myself. I know when you're being successful because you're good, and I know what part of it's are successful because you're on a wave and how to distinguish the two. Like there's so many people that are part of a wave and you like, I'm great. And it's like, nah, you're right place, right time. But sometimes you are great. And I think knowing when those are, you can make the right decisions, right?
So were your parents, what did your dad do for a living? He worked at the store, all
they
store.
Do the stores, yeah.
So how did your parents meet?
My dad was playing in a band, and he's playing bass when he was young, when he was like, 24 or whatever. He said, hey, baby from the projects, My mom's cute. She's, big tits, the whole package. But they're divorced. They were, I would say, probably they're a terrible pair. Like when you look back and you go, how did you guys stay together ever?
How old were you when they split?
Maybe like 12, 13. Yeah.
So right around the time you formed the band.
Yeah, when I was like, I would think my brothers, my one brother, he has a little energy of it was kind of hard. Whereas me, I'm like, I don't think I even noticed. I remember my mom when she told me, she goes, listen, like me and your dad are getting like divorced, and I just want you to know we don't love you any less. And I remember being like, yeah, I mean, why would you love me less? Like, what? What? Like, what? Like, what? First of all, like, I could not care less. I'm like, can I go skateboard now? Like, I don't care. You go logistically, you're just like, is this going to be like a big pain in the ass for me? But it wasn't. They moved few miles apart. We didn't have to go to different schools. Really, changed. The only thing that happened was because I was kind of like a getting kicked out of school kid and stuff like that. The only thing now is that it's easier to get away with everything. But the nightmare, my horror is that you got to do everything twice. Like now, especially, like if I go back to Canada, I got to do 2 things. If you start dating a girl, they got divorced parents. It's like a lot of parents in the mix these days with all these divorces.
I'm going to see all these fucking people.
Yeah, they live far.
It's not vacation. It's visiting. There's a big difference.
It's too much. There's too much of that right now. So that's the pain in the ass that came with it.
So your mom and dad, they split. Who do you live with then, mom?
Live with pretty even, but mom.
Okay.
But like 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah, because they live not that far away.
And did mom remarry or dad remarry?
Yeah, mom remarried Brian. And my dad's remarried Helen. Yeah.
You got a Ryan. And
do you want to know what's funny? So, Brian. No, he's Brian. Yeah. Ryan and Brian. Yeah. He's like the ultimate stepdad. Like you can picture
he's a good dude.
Yeah, picture a stepdad, make 0 changes. That's him. He works in hydro. Dude, he's the man. Like pure stepdad energy though.
And did you take to him
Rocking
right away?
Rocking a Mo Dry. I wasn't around, right? So it's like I was gone when that happens. Like this is when I'm in, college.
Oh, was that late?
So it was not almost like none of my business.
Yeah.
So me and him he's like a friend.
What would you do if you didn't have high interest loans or credit card debt? With Upstart, you can pay off your existing debt quickly and easily and start living your life. Upstart is the fast and easy way to pay off your debt with a personal loan, all online. Whether it's paying off credit cards, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, over 1 million people have used Upstart to get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. So rather than looking at credit score alone, Upstart considers other factors like your income, your current employment, and your credit history to find you a smarter rate for your loan. And you can check your rate without impacting your credit score in minutes for loans between $1,000 all the way up to $50,000. And you can even receive funds as fast as 1 business day after accepting your loan. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/honeydew. That's upstart.com/honeydew. Don't forget to use my URL to let them know I sent you. Loan amounts will be determined based on your credit, your income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Upstart.com/honeydew. Between small talk at the company holiday party and enjoying all the holiday treats, your mouth does a lot this time of year. Gift it better oral care with Quip, makers of the award-winning electric toothbrush. And when you save up to 40% on holiday bundles, it's also a gift to your wallet. The Quip electric toothbrush is loved by over 7 million mouths and has time sonic vibrations with 30-second pulses to guide a dentist recommended 2-minute clean, a lightweight and sleek design with no wires or bulky charger to weigh you down, a multi-use travel cover that doubles as a mirror mount for less clutter, reusable handles in a range of sleek metal hues including best-selling all black and all pink as well as bright plastic colors, sure to add a pop to your bathroom counter. In addition to brush heads, Quip also delivers fresh floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, and gum refills every 3 months from $5. Shipping is free, so you can save money and skip the hustle and bustle of shopping in-store during the holidays and into the new year. Even more good news, Quip is running their best deals of the year, which means you won't be paying through the teeth when you gift better oral health care this year. If you go to getquip.com/honeydew right now, on top of their holiday savings, you'll get your first refill free. That's your first refill free and up to 40% off of bundles at getquip.com/honeydew. That's spelled GETQUIP.com/honeydew. Quip, the Good Habits Company. Talkspace makes it possible to speak with a licensed therapist right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And unlike traditional therapy, you can message your therapist anytime via text, video, or voice. It's 100% secure and stigma-free, the way therapy should be. You know I believe in therapy. This is a mental health show, and I believe everybody has something they could talk to somebody about, especially guys. That whole, like, it's not macho, whatever, get over that. That's old news, man. So whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, or anything else, Talkspace gives you access to the help you need to move forward. Facing those obstacles isn't easy, and you don't win a prize for doing it alone. Getting professional help isn't weird or weak. It's smart because, sure, your friend might know a thing or two about electricity. But you going to let them rewire your house? Now, join Talkspace today and start moving forward with a single message. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use promo code Honeydew at sign up. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com, promo code Honeydew. Now, let's get back to the dude.
But my dad, he got remarried, which I think I told this story before, but he got married at the Toronto Maple Leafs game.
No. In the middle of a game?
Trash.
You can
right?
do that?
Yeah. So
he actually not proposed.
No, at the beginning. And everyone wore hockey jerseys at the game. Trash, right? That's how much they like hockey. He got his wife on board, right? So, isn't that fun? But listen, so they got married at the
in the middle of a game.
Yeah. And
not like an empty arena you rent out and go. Like a game is happening.
The game, it's right before the game. You have an area. And it's kind of like a box, I guess. So that's the thing. I was like making fun of him a lot. And we're all like, this is such trash. Your next wedding's going to be at NASCAR. And his attitude was like, trash. You know how much this box costs? Like, what are you, crazy?
Yeah,
this
you're
is
nuts.
He was like, trash? What are you, out of your mind? White trash can't afford this. Like,
white trash can't afford to look like white trash.
That's his fucking, yeah. His thing was like, what are you, out of your fucking mind?
It's about the dollar sign for him.
Yeah. He was impressed that he was pulled this off. He was like,
shut the fuck up. Where's the mascot?
He goes,
where's the goddamn mascot?
Put your hand up if you think this is too poor for you, and you can leave. Watch the free fucking hockey game. What other weddings do you get to watch a Leafs game? A Leafs sell out every game. This is a big, important team. So he loves hockey, right? But they did. I actually officiated my mom's.
No.
Yeah, not officiated. I hosted it. To Brian.
To MC it. You hosted it.
And this is when I first started doing comedy too. I was going pretty wild.
What was that like?
I'll tell you a funny one. So my brother's gay, and he comes up and he goes, you know, my stepsister's so happy to have her in her family because normally we're just surrounded by guys. And then I went up and I'm like, first time he's complaining about being surrounded by guys. Like I'm saying shit like this. And people in the family are like, probably this was a bad idea having Ryan do this. Yeah. So I'm officiating the wedding. Now,
how many people are there?
I don't know, 200.
God, that's a lot.
I'll tell you, if you go back to the uncle, this is the kind of the guy the uncle is. He was there and he wore a do-rag. You know the white guy do-rag?
Yeah.
He's got the white guy do-rag. He's like the meme, and then, you know, smokes in the pocket, the whole thing. And then we had to drive him back to where he was staying that night. And
but was he like that heroin skinny though?
Oh, he's pure heroin skinny. And then when we're leaving, he goes to the open bar and he's trying to take 5 like cans to go. He's trying to take he's trying to take a bunch of lights to go, right? And then and my mom's like, all right, this is gonna wrap it up, buddy. He's not messing around, right? When you get that free alcohol kicking. But yeah, so I officiated that wedding. Then there was the hockey game wedding. And then, but again, these people weren't really in my life because I was pretty independent. It was like I was doing my own thing since I was young, right? And then I went to college, moved to Toronto. They, met new people, liked both of them. No,
So you're basically coming home to meet their new partners.
I would come home to meet new partners. Partners are cool.
Right.
No problems.
Right. You're not being disciplined and growing up under the same roof with these people. Right.
That's exactly what it was. Right. Like, I'm sure there'd be millions of problems because I was a troublemaking kid, right? But they didn't have to deal with any of that. I was living my life in Toronto,
Why? Why are you getting thrown out of school? Like, what kind of stuff are you doing to get thrown out?
I was just like that kid,
Just a smart ass, loud mouth, or were you pulling off shit?
I was a bit of a prankster.
Like what?
To be honest,
what's your best prank? And the one that actually got you kicked out?
I'll tell you my best prank. So this was when I was probably grade 9. So we pulled this one on a couple people, but there's a French teacher. See, in Canada, you got to take French, kind of like how you take Spanish here. We have to have.
They don't. Yeah,
but
we
we
have to. Yeah, so
right. It doesn't help. I took it for 12 years. I can't speak.
Nah,
dude, I can barely speak. I can say "Je ne parle pas français bien." That's it. I don't speak. See, yeah, you take it every year. It didn't help. So we used to do. There was like. We pulled this multiple times, but the one was Miss Waldman that we did it to multiple times. They would put movies in, and one of the big French ones that goes, "Tell le français, You ever heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they would put those movies in, and we would replace her VHSs with porn.
Nah.
Yeah. So she
In high school, you got away
This
with
is
that?
grade 9. Yeah, well, I didn't get away with
Oh,
it.
okay.
I didn't say get away with it.
Well, you got away with doing it.
Yeah, that was probably one of our best pranks, is replacing all the VHS.
And what happens when it hits? Does she
They
just
put it
shit
on,
herself?
and it goes, brown old school porn, and then we go, oh, what the, Miss Bowman, you pervert! What the? Why are you showing this to us?
Why are you showing this to us? Oh, terrible. That poor lady.
She went to the insane asylum.
Nuh-uh.
So
you guys drove that poor lady crazy?
yeah, we drove that poor lady crazy, which I do feel somewhat bad about now, but she was a bad woman too. She smoked.
Was she running over there to try to stop the tape and shit, just panicking, or was she just yelling, who did this, who did that?
Panicking. But no one ratted on us for that, so they weren't able to pin it on us. That one we got away with. But the bet, even now, I forgot about this part, but so she's gone for, I don't know if it was directly related to that. At some point, she leaves for 3 days, which we later find out she's in the insane asylum. She goes away for 3 days, and the teacher comes, the supply teacher comes back, and I decide that I'm going to pretend that I'm a retarded kid. So that's my thing. I go, I'm going to, like, I have this whole, I don't know, it's fun to do this bit now. But, I wore my pants all weird. I talked funny. And then I was doing this whole thing, like, oh, and then the teacher's back the next day. Then she's back the next day.
And now there's nothing wrong with you.
And then day 4, she's like, yeah, I'm going to be here for the rest of the semester. And I'm like, so I got to slowly.
Next day, your pants are on right.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I can't do this act for another 2 months.
That's what you get.
Yeah. I gotta slowly transition out of my character. I'm like, I don't know what it is about your teaching, but I'm back to normal.
I don't know what you said, but man.
Yeah. So I had to slowly transition back into a normal person.
God.
Yeah, she never came back. But no, you know what? It's kind of funny because, you were talking, you do comedy, and it's funny, like a lot of the stuff you used to get in trouble for, you do for a living. But I legitimately, that's what we were doing. All making videos, causing trouble. We used to go to, break into places and film it and do all this shit and all this stuff that was everyone yelling at you like, your life's going to be a mess if you don't stop. That's the stuff that, eventually, and now I make a good living doing.
Yeah, good for
it's
you.
Kind of funny,
dude.
yeah. Eventually, that led to like the TV shows, all that stuff. And it was some of that pranks. I think back, and I'm like, we were doing some pretty funny ones when we were a kid.
Tell me, do your mom and dad get along?
They don't. They're fine now.
Yeah,
but for a while, my mom, it would be very like passive aggressive. Like, you going to your dad's? Like, I guess he'll probably be doing the way that he is. Like, it's all that kind of energy.
but have they ever been to a show at the same time to see you do stand up?
Yeah, they just
That's
play it
pretty
cool. But it's very, how's it going? I don't think they have much. They don't talk about much, especially now that the kids aren't kids,
Yeah, it's good.
My brother's a lot younger, but now that there's nothing to talk about, I think it's just, you know what it is. I get some point, if the kids are gone, that's someone that you dated 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing, right? It's, we're not gonna be friends, it'd be insane. The couples that they're friends with their ex and the ex's new husbands.
And they vacation together
little strange.
and shit. It is.
A little strange.
I'm not down.
It's a weird
Go
life.
do your own thing, man.
Yeah.
Don't even send pictures. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah, there's more. I think there's more people that you could be friends with in the world. It just had to be them. Yeah.
So there was a story you said that I don't want to give away where you end up living, but
yeah. So I remember when I went to college, this is kind of like, the thing is, I always did kind of good in school. So it was one of those things where they're like, hey, life's gonna be bad if you don't get it together.
listen,
And you're
for a special needs kid.
yeah.
You are killing these grades, right?
Yeah. So you'd kind of be like, I mean, I won't though. I'll be, you're a kid, you're cocky. They're like, you're gonna, your life's gonna be messy. And you're like, it won't though. I'll be fine. I'd say it wasn't until 25 when I first was like, oh yeah, it can go bad. But I remember, so when I went to college, in the first 2 weeks, I got kicked out of residence. And then,
For what?
so basically all the stuff. So and one of the big things was I was throwing parties on the roof. Then we got in like a big fight and went through the window. Then we broke in the library one night, and then we were like party. We threw a party there, and we like brought chicks back to like the library and then just a lot of that stuff, like a lot of just then like all of the little notifications you get, like the red when you only have 3 of them, all that stuff. But the big things was breaking all the stuff. The party on the roof was a big one, and then I got kicked out of my res. Then I got kicked out of all the other ones. Then I got kicked out of mine, and I remember like. I lived in my car for a bit. So I go, but it was funny.
Now, why? Why not with your parents? Did you not want to be a burden?
They're 2 hours away.
Oh, it's 2 hours away.
2 hours away. So, and also my mom at this point, when she calls me, she was like, I'm so glad that you're university now and you like got your act together and things. And I'm like, I just got like kicked out like a day ago. So I'm like, I'm just not going to tell them. So I never told them, and which is even funny because both my brothers also got kicked out, and like at family things, they'll all kind of be like, "Yeah, at least I didn't get kicked out of res," and they're just like, "Watch it," like, "Well, you're pushing it, Ryan," because they still don't know.
Yeah.
But so eventually I would have like a chick or two that I could stay at their place, but it was fun for like a day. It was kind of like, oh, I'm living in my car, this wild, whatever, right? And then. This girl, she was kind of like, okay, you can stay here for a couple of days, but I had to sneak in because you basically have to, it's a whole procedure. You got to have like a watch out man, and so I would go into her thing, and then someone saw me, so the res come with the police, and they knock on the door, and they were like, hey, you're like harboring Ryan Long, essentially. And I go in the closet, and the girl, she's there, and they start being like, she's like, he's not here. And they go, listen, like, you're going to get kicked out too if you don't tell on him, blah, blah. And then she just like looks at me and starts crying. And I just walk out, like, all right. I come at you with like what took you so long, So these guys, they take me to the police station. Then they're like, all right,
what are the charges just for all the shit you've been doing? Okay.
So they're like, you're only allowed. And I did a few like nights there in jail, like already. So, and it was like, they're like, now you're banned from the res except for times you have classes. That's the whole thing. And it's like a big trespass.
So you're only allowed on the property to attend your class.
That's where it got to. Yeah. And we're talking a month into school too. This is pretty early.
It's interesting that they don't just say fuck off and throw you all the way out.
I guess the res and the school are different things.
Okay.
Right. So, at this point, I'm not going to any classes. I'm not doing anything, but school first year is pretty easy, But I did get kicked out. So I was in economics, and I was showing up to this one class drunk, but like not because I was a mess, like because I thought it was funny. And then eventually they're like, okay, you can do the exams, but you can't come to this class anymore. So it's kind of all this stuff. But at the same time, like at the time, I thought like, I'm a legend. Like I didn't think,
yeah,
like. You don't think but then, so eventually, then it started being winter. So I was sleeping in my car. I had this like spot. And then eventually it was like too cold. So but I didn't have money, and I didn't want to tell my parents. I didn't have a job. So I'm like, I was just trying to find girls I could sleep at their place and stuff like that. But this stuff kept happening. And then I was sleeping in the car, found this one spot. And then the res security came out to that area, and they're like, hey, you can't sleep here either. And then my car wouldn't start. So I'm like in the res, like parking lot, the back one, like under a blanket, 3 a.m. Security comes with the police. They're like, well, you can't be here. And they're like, we'll try to find like a boost. So I'm standing there like in the fucking, it's like at this point, it's like December, and I'm there with like the police trying to boost my car. So like, and then I finally like 4 a.m. go find like a ditch in a parking lot and like sleep there. And I was like, all right, I think this is where we gotta figure this thing out.
Remember when you didn't think it could go bad?
You're just like, yeah, you go.
Now you're laying in a ditch wondering how it could go right.
Yeah, and no one's watching. No one thinks this is sick.
Yeah.
No one thinks this is fun. Like, I guess I could tell people like that, and everyone's just like, dude, like, yeah, I think it started to be way more like, dude, get your shit together. So then I went to Hamilton, which is kind of like an hour away, and stayed with my like buddies res for the rest of the year, and then scraped some money together to get like a little place in a room and a room like in like a house with like 9 other people off campus. But that was the living in the car. There was like a week and a half where I was legitimately like winter. Just you drive around. Canada winter.
Yeah.
Driving around. Everything I own dirty in a back of
What car? What kind of car?
Caprice Classic, old cop car.
Yeah.
No windshield wipers. So I would drive with, I'd take a hockey stick and I had a towel on it. So he would,
And reach out the
yeah,
window.
dude, that's how I would drive with the
That's ridiculous. That is so fucking dangerous.
windshield wipers. No, I had no cash at this point. Eventually, I've cashed in my meal plan. So you have a meal plan. I cashed in my meal plan, and that got me like $2,000. That's for the whole thing. So I was like, we're rich now. But yeah, so I would drive around in the Caprice Classic, all my gear there, and then eventually it was like, all right, we've reached the tipping point. But then eventually, then the band started kind of popping off, and then I was in school while I was like touring with the band and stuff. Whatever, finished the degree, but I think that was the most like, all right, we gotta pull this together a little bit.
What stopped the band?
I think that, I mean, looking back now, I think you can look at any moment in time and be kind of like, at the time you think it's one thing, but kind of looking back, what actually happened. I mean, looking back, if you look at any scene, and if I look at every band that was part of that like scene that were all popular, it's over now for everyone. I kind of think of like it was kind of like a punk band, and we were part of a movement. We were one of those guys. I think even whenever you look at music and even comedy, it's like it's those guys in that scene. Like there's this pocket. There's all these rappers that come from this area or Atlanta, or all these bands that came from Seattle, right? So we were kind of part of this movement, I guess, that is over. Like kind of the same thing with even take a band like Limp Bizkit or something, right? Like they're still big, people still know who they are. No one's listening to the new song. It's over. You know what I mean? The moment's over. Unless you become kind of like a industry popular band, but our movement was over. And I think at the time I maybe saw it quicker than other people, and I was making these DVDs with the bands, and I was probably spending more time on that. Like everywhere we went, I was just filming all this trouble, and we were releasing all these DVDs with the band, and it was kind of getting as much popularity as the songs at some point. So then I started doing this like weird live show that I was streaming with all the sketches and all that stuff. And then that led to this weird little cable access show that we were doing that we had a few sponsors, and I was making a bit of cash on. And I was doing this little cable access show out of our, house with a bunch of dudes. And that was just that's all I cared about. So at the same time, the music industry was dying. Our scene was over. Music's a young man's game. I was 25 at this point. It's that touring in a van and traveling and partying, that's a young man's game. And I think that even being on the pulse is a young man's game. So right now, I a little bit always try to look at people older than me for skill and the people younger than me for energy, Like even
That's well said.
Yeah, even the troublemaking stuff. Like I watch these young guys and I'm like, I couldn't do that anymore because I don't have the recklessness. I don't have the fearlessness. But I also don't have to only get kicked out of places because I have more tricks in my toolkit,
Right.
So I think that at the same time that I was, becoming obsessed with making videos, that's all I cared about. The music thing was kind of ending, and I really wanted to do TV shows, and so I kind of was transitioning into that.
And you did mention you had a TV show, right?
Yeah, so this cable TV show led to this show called Ryan Long is Challenged, which was kind of like an Ali G type of thing. Yeah.
Which goes right back to your fucking high school class.
Bring it back. Yeah. I was always what I called smart stupid, where it's like I was good at math, but you're stupid. Like you're loopy. Don't know places,
Directions.
Don't know directions, don't know places. I'm like very much, you leave your house because and then you realize you forgot your keys, go up, go back down, forgot them again, go back up and down. You're like, a third time, huh? Like that's, like pieces are missing sort of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is one thing I feel like whenever people that have that, the only solution is doing one thing at a time. That's the only way to kind of make yourself not loopy. That's my favorite days. When we were talking about days, like, sometimes you just want to cut the grass.
Mm-hmm.
The most days I look forward to is when I go, I'm doing one thing today. If it's editing, if it's writing, if it's whatever it is.
All I'm doing.
I'm doing one thing properly. And that's what I think I'm best too. But I actually sold this show by doing some wild stuff. I was reading a lot of like books, like you know, like the original kind of take over the world books, like 48 Laws of Power, and you know that kind of what eventually became the Tim Ferriss world, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Felt like I was in the early days of that, where it's like a different way of looking at life, where you're like, dude, no, you can make it happen. So I would find out the heads of all these TV stations, and I would make all these demos, and then I would find out where they're going to be, find someone that was there, get into the parties, try to like, you know, make friends with the people. And I managed to do it to the point where I got to the head of the party, act like I bumped into them all, and was able to get them on interest in this show. I used every dollar I had and then went into debt about 20 grand making this show. So I made 6 episodes of this show at first, and then sold it to these guys, and was able to kind of make all my money back, and you know, and more, and sold this show when I'm like 26, and we made this wild show. And this was kind of like, in my mind, I was like, all right, this is what we're doing. Like, we kind of got it figured out now.
Is this also your introduction into comedy as well, shifting out of the music?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is around this time was when I was like, all right, I think I got to just do stand up.
Okay.
Which is maybe 11, 12 years ago.
Using the internet without ExpressVPN, it's like leaving your laptop exposed at the coffee shop table while you run to the bathroom. Most of the time, you're probably fine, but what if one day you come out of the bathroom and your laptop is gone? Every time you connect to an unencrypted network, cafes, hotels, airports, any hacker on the same network can gain access to your personal data, your passwords, your financial details, all that stuff. Your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 a person selling personal info on the dark web. It's easy to use. You fire up the app and you click one button to get protected. It works on all your devices, your phones, your laptops, your tablets, and more, so you can stay secure on the go. Look, I love ExpressVPN. I'm always on the go. I got it on my tablet when I'm flying and traveling. I got it on my phone here. We've got it here at the studio. We're not going unprotected. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/honeydew. That's expressvpn.com/honeydew, and you can get an extra 3 months free. expressvpn.com/honeydew. Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. Green Chef makes eating well easy with plans to fit every lifestyle. So whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals, Green Chef offers a range of recipes to suit your preferences. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of their plastic packaging in every box and 100% of their carbon footprint and emissions. Green Chef offers 35 nutritious and flavorful options to choose from every week, featuring premium, clean ingredients that are seasonally sourced for peak freshness. And it saves you time by taking care of meal planning, grocery shopping, and most of the prep for you week after week, so you don't have to. They sent me a box of food, man. You know I'm jumping right into it. I made pork burgers. I'm telling you, it was so good. The barbecue sauce, the red onions, it was all there. Everything you like. The cilantro, it's all there. It's fresh. It's great. It's delicious. Go to greenchef.com/honeydew10 and use code honeydew10 to get 10 free meals, including free shipping. Listen to me. 10 free meals and free shipping. That's greenchef.com/honeydew10 and use the code honeydew10 to get 10 free meals, including free shipping. You gotta do it. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. Now, let's get back to the do.
We were doing wild pranks, but the one that we did, the first episode aired, they put all the press out like it was, you know, episode 1, within 24 hours, 2 of the people that we pranked had called the network with their lawyers, being like,
already lawyered up.
and this ain't like a huge net. This is the equivalent of like Fuse or something here, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a comedy network, but not like so. And they're all freaking out. We're getting all these phone calls, and it was dark. And I'll tell you what the prank was, which there's kind of so basically, it was. Every episode I had to do something wild, and it was kind of like sell a fashion product, right? So I made these pants that have a dick built in to make your dick look bigger.
I feel like I've seen this. Have I seen this?
Maybe.
This
A lot of these clips went viral, yeah. But they're called Python pants was the idea.
And it just looked like you have a hog down
You
your
got
leg.
a piece of me.
But for real, I wonder why no one's ever sold those.
I think there's probably been some version of this after. I was the original.
That's ridiculous. How long? Like down to your knees? Like, is it ridiculous?
There was some big ones. There was some big ones.
Oh, you had different sizes. You could model.
Depends on how bad you want to flex, you know? Python pants. And we did then there was a whole
Did
episode
anybody
based on
buy
this
them?
bit.
Did you ever get somebody like, yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
part of
fucking
the
get 'em?
bit was we would sell them at a store, and then we'd make people come in, and then we'd kind of bully them into buying them, and that was part of the bit. And we got a few guys to buy them, right? But the main thing was there's this guy who ran this big company, and it was like a big fashion line, and I went in with my crew, and I was pretty good at like weaseling into places, so I went to the front desk, and I was like, hey, we're here to see the guy who runs the place. And I go, he's a friend of my family and he knows I'm coming or whatever. And they're like, what? I don't think we have an interview. I go, no, he knows. We're supposed to do a filming thing with him, blah, blah. And then she starts walking and then me and the crew just follow her because now we can follow her into his office. And then he's very confused. And then we're just like, hey, we have the new line for next year. And he's kind of like, who are you? And then we like pull out this like briefcase and it was like Python pants. And it was like, you guys can't afford not to sell, whatever. I'm doing the whole sales pitch. He flips out, the security comes.
He was pissed.
And so this happens and I'm like when all this stuff's going down, it was probably like because in my mind I was like, the band was,
I'm
over.
making Python night pants, goddamn.
Yeah.
You get your dick in some night pants.
Just a piece.
Oh,
in my mind,
you broke into this guy's office and tried to sell him dick pants.
Yeah, we're like, listen, if you're packing, you're packing. We're trying to.
I mean, you can't do anything about it.
And his
just
secretary's there.
picture it, yeah.
He goes, he says you have an appointment with me. I go,
You
the
know his
Python
family,
fans.
he's saying.
Yeah, I'm saying all this shit.
Oh,
but the
God.
funny part,
So you're not wearing them in, though. You doing your presentation.
I wasn't wearing them
Okay.
here. I've worn them in other parts, though. Yeah. Just a piece. So when they call me, I was, because this is like, the band was kind of over in my mind. And I'm like, yeah, I've got my shot to do my TV show, which now it's like, now I realize this TV show was nothing. There was no chance for any of these shows. TV was over. Like it was so in the past. Like if anything, I was clinging on to the idea that I could be that TV thing was over. Like they'll never have another TV show like that again, especially in Canada that matters. But, so I just went my buddy's cabin and I asked if I could just stay there. I went there by myself and I was, like feeling sorry for myself, like skipping rocks and stuff. I told my dad and then he was, I went to high school with that guy. The guy that I broke into the office.
Nuh-uh.
Swear to God. So the guy
The guy that wouldn't buy your dick pants?
that I said knew my family.
No way. Yeah, he didn't know him then, huh?
Yeah. My dad goes, I went to high school with that guy. And I go, do you think you could get his number for me? Because I'm like, what if I could talk him into this? So my dad goes, I'll try. He gives me his number. He goes, my uncle was buddies with him. He gets the number. So I call him and I'm like, hey, can I speak to him? I tell him it's the guy that came in with the pants. And then I was like, hey, I came in with the pants and I was just hoping. He goes, you fucking piece of shit. You think that you can call me after that? Like, we are going to fucking take this episode down. I just go click.
Listen, real quick. How do you feel about Python shorts?
Yeah. I go.
You didn't even get out, my dad or my dad knows you, nothing, huh?
In my mind, I was like, I'll smooth this over. I'm a fast talking salesman. I'm selling Python pants. I can sell this guy. In my mind, I'm gonna be like, we'll recut the parts. I'm gonna sell him on you actually look funny. It's good publicity. I'm gonna be this guy, right? He's peeking. If you could see him in person, his hair was flying off his head, steam was coming out of the ears, He's like, you come down here right now, say this to my, he's flipping. So I just go click. I go, all right, well, that's not happening. Eventually, they re-released the episodes with, all the stuff cut out 4 months later after the hype's over and whatever. It kind of dwindled.
All right, so it did make it out then. Okay.
It did make it out, but I mean, to be fair, no one would have cared at the time, but you look back. I think 25 to me, you were saying 16s. I think it might have been before we started, but 16 is like a tough age. For me, I felt like for a lot of guys, I think that 25 is like the toughest age, especially if you're doing anything alternative. Because
Tell me why.
well, 25, for men, everyone is. A lot of people are getting their lives together. They've been out of school for 4 years. People have a good job, but anyone that's doing something alternative takes a long time, right? So I think 25 to 30 for men can feel for everyone, but I think girls have it at a different time. But for dudes, it's like that's the first where it's like everyone's rushing to check off all the things. People are like, oh, you know, I'll have a kid. Maybe I could. And then you look at a guy that's like 29, you're like, dude, this guy lives in a house and he's got his shit together. He's got making $100K a year, and you're like some bum because you try to do something. But then at 30, I don't even think anyone cares anymore whether it worked out or didn't. 30 is the first year where it's like, I feel like your buddies get together. No one's like, hey, how's your job? No one cares anymore. It's just like, I mean, even being a comedian, doing this kind of stuff, no one starts being like, you don't go to family things and they go, how's your job? They just go, how are you?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I feel 30, it's just whatever you're doing, you're doing. No one really, you kind of realize no one cares about you anymore. And they don't, which is liberating. Like, people stopped being invested in you, whether that be your friends, whether that be your family, like, which can seem bad to some people, but to me, it's like liberating. It's like no one's watching anymore. So you're just, whatever you're doing, you're just doing it. And I think that to me, it's kind of like, you know, the idea of you can look up and think about how small you are. And it's like, that could be liberating or scary. I think it's liberating, you know? So I think that the idea that no one's paying attention to you anymore, to me, gives you the freedom to actually kind of take chances and be who, you know, do what you want to do. So I think that's why the 30 is like a tough age. Whereas 16, most people when they're young, especially like a certain type of guy, it's like, not that much has gone wrong yet.
Bro, you don't know who you're sitting across from.
But even still, none of that's going to affect you forever. Like 16, a lot can go wrong, but it's like, it can affect you mentally, but you can recover from it.
You could.
Career-wise, like what's going to happen?
I'll give you this, though.
Yeah, give me an example of what you mean.
I'll give you an example of, you're right about numbers. I didn't know, I mean, except for my own brothers, I didn't know anybody that went through what we went through. So my dad died. My mom had left our family, and my dad died at 16, and we were on our own from 16.
Yeah.
That's it. So that changed everything for us.
You can have terrible things that can affect you mentally, but I only mean, so I'm talking about a different context. I'm talking about in the context of like, are my peers doing better than me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They all were. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like,
I think
possible.
I'm like, you drive a company car? Wait, you don't pay for insurance? Wait, hang on. They give you gas too? And I'm like, what the fuck am I?
Yeah,
how much is that a year?
I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
You're like,
right.
I should have done what am I doing?
I could have done, you have a 401k and they put money in it?
You're like a real human.
You're paid when you're on vacation? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then, but if you ever met a 20-year-old that's like, it's too late, and you're like, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is some degree.
You keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah, there's
That's
some degree
the
when
thing,
someone's like, it's 30 and they're like, it's too late. You're like, yeah, probably. Like, so just do what you're doing now. Like, or not
stick with it.
Not too late, but like, yeah, whatever you're doing now, it's like, there is a bit of like, you know, you're in the pocket now. So I think that's the pressure is relieved. I think there's so much pressure when you're just looking around, comparing yourself to everyone constantly. Not that ever ends, but I think it's tougher in your mid-20s. I think that's the like toughest era for comparing yourself to people.
I mean, look, I think you can reinvent yourself at any point, and you have to. But I think I agree with what you're saying about people in their 30s. I think if they haven't gone for it, or they're not really in the middle of it, or they just aren't dying for it, that I think a lot of people do settle.
If you're
they're going to take that job that they've had for 10 years and stay.
And maybe that's a good life.
It is. It could very well be. But if you're regretting it and always wondering it, like I just know me, I don't want to be a person that, you know, some of my last thoughts are what if.
No, I know.
Yeah, fuck that.
But probably the type of person that is like that is the type of person that took some shots in their 20s. So the fact that you're wired that way, you know, you'll kind of have done the thing where it's like, you know, I tried a bunch of stuff in the 20s and built skills. And then in your 30s and 40s, you know, you can kind of, all right, I'm a formed human. I have some skills that I built. Let's try to use them now. See what we can do with this. Whereas I think the type of person, there's a lot of people that think they want that, you know, they'll be like, and that's probably at 30, they realize they don't. Like how many people are kind of like, you know, I want to be an artist. I want to do this. I want to start a company. And then you're like, I know you. You don't. You don't want to do those things. You don't want to run a company. You would hate running a company. I know you. And then I think at some point they're like, yeah, I just think I like thinking that I'd want to run a company. You know what I mean?
So what
People get in touch with who they kind of are.
at what did you first think you wanted to be? Did you always know you wanted to stay in music first?
I think that to me, that was just like the cool move at the time.
Did you ever think you wanted to be anything other than a musician or a comedian?
I never thought I wanted to be a comedian. I did think I wanted to make a TV show. I didn't even know what I didn't know stand-up
in front
existed.
of the camera, though.
Yeah, like I know a lot of friends that kind of grew up that are in comedy that like loved comedy. I didn't watch, I liked Jackass. I thought that Adam Sandler and David Spade were funny, but I didn't watch, the only stand-up I'd ever watched was Jerry Seinfeld Telling You for the Last Time, probably. And I was like, all right. But no, to me, it was like, I think that what I realize now, if I look back at what I wanted, it's that I wanted to like run my own thing, but do it differently. Like, or do something different. Like, I think I wanted to live like kind of a cowboy life. So at the end of the day, like a lot of these lives, you end up working 80 hours a week and you're working just as hard, but there's like some type of like a pirate component to it that I think whenever I feel like
that outlaw shit,
whenever I feel that drifting away is when I really start to feel like something's off. I don't like what I'm doing here. Even so, I might be doing the exact same thing, but it's attached to something, which I think is why the new industry is so good. Like even the fact that I kind of moved here and I do really well, but I don't think that the industry like has a place for me, and it's like they're doing you a favor in a lot of ways, because.
Man, listen, yes, you're right. I believe in that. The industry can tell you no all they want to, but there's nobody more than comedians who have proven this industry wrong and have gone right over that wall, through that fucking wall, under that wall, around that wall. If you're not saying like, there's so many good, talented, funny musicians, comedians, artists, and there's this industry, this wall that says, we're not saying you're not, but you can go. You can go. You failed 7 times, but you can keep on going.
Yeah.
You're going again. You're going again. You're going again. You fuck kids, you can still go. You've raped people, you can still go. But you, something we don't like about you. I don't know what it is. And then you got to figure out your own fucking way.
But it's hard. It's better now because
of comedians. In our world, it's because of comedians. Comedians have taken these fucking podcasts right here. Fucking athletes, actors, nobody took podcast and took it to this level like comedians have. Now everybody's got a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
But it was comics.
Everyone's running a business.
That started that shit. The Rogans and Mark Maron and Hardwick and Earwolf guys going way back and Segura and Burr. All these guys were doing this shit way early on. And now look where they are. And now everybody's doing it and everybody's got one. But those people, the comedians, are the people that have had to change more than if you're an actor, you still got to do the same shit. Take your classes, learn someone else's fucking lines. That's it, right? But for comedians, when I first started, it was just jokes. And then it was WordPress. And then it was all these social media platforms. And then it was get your shit on video. And then it was this and podcast. And it's like, holy shit, we have had to evolve. More, I feel like, in art than any other probably art form there is out there. I really feel like comedians have had to just change more than any art form.
Yeah, because the things shifted so quick.
So drastically.
It kind of feels like there's some girl that you like want so bad or something like that for a lot of people, and then you go get rich and successful and your life kind of rules, and she's like, you know what, I decided I do want you, and you're like what?
I got 4 of these.
Yeah, dude, like you go to a meeting now and it's like, not to like talk about money like that, but it's like, let's even say not me, but like a lot of other people that are way bigger than me. It's like, a lot of my friends and me to some extent, you go to these like meetings now and they're like, hey, like, if you could pitch us this thing, maybe you can get a show. And you're like, I don't know if you know this, but we're all rich now. Like, it's like, dude, I don't know. Like, it's like, you guys not get, like, you missed it. And I think that's why if they want people, they just have to, drop like insane deals for people now. Cause you're just like, dude, like my life is good. Like I do what I want to do. We're making stuff. I mean, there's still its problems. Like you can always get deleted and there's still issues with
deleted.
You can.
I like that saying better.
They can delete
you. Yeah. You just got deleted, bro. I like that better than cancel, man. He got deleted. Deleted culture over
You
there.
get scrubbed. Well, if they disappear your YouTube channel, you got deleted.
Yeah, it's deleted. That's true.
But, at the same time, there is that thing where it's like you got bullied into doing what you want to do anyway. It's like tough love almost. But then they want to come back and they're like, hey, let's do stuff. And you're like, what?
Well, also just artistically, like, just because you have a good idea doesn't mean you're going to have another one. You know what I mean?
Especially in one that was right for that moment, for that energy.
Like for example, you're talking about the type of music you had in the moment passed and it was over.
No energy there.
Right. So, but if you had that one good idea, well, if that music doesn't last forever, there's no guarantee you're going to come up with another band in another genre that's going to fucking kill. You can come up with a TV show, a great TV show. There's no guarantee you're going to do another one. Or come up with a good one. There's no guarantee you're going to have another good album, another good
but for entrepreneurs, like, you built a company that you were on the pulse. Like, I think you can look at that for any business, It's like, I think if you're able...
Well, I'm sorry. I wanted to say this because what I'm getting at is they should pay someone. You should want someone to pay you handsomely for something that is your fucking passion. And if I'm going to give it up and I may never have another one again, then for me, that financial reward has got to be worth the fact that you could just you're taking it from me and I could never have it again today. If that's where I would look at it.
Yeah.
And you've got to compensate me for the rest of my fucking life because I know once I give this up, I know that you people are going to ruin the fucking thing because that's what you do.
And this is the one time that I was my like age was right for this moment. My perspective was right.
Everything lined up. And if you're gonna take it, then
probably
pay the fuck
it.
out of me.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
because there's no guarantee the stars are lining up again.
No,
and what am I gonna do then?
If it happens a few times in your life where you're just like, man, I'm in the zone on all fucking levels. If that happens a few times in your life, that's probably a pretty decent ratio.
I mean, if you get one in this business, it's hot.
Yeah. I do that with everything right now. This is like a Scott Adams thing, the Dilbert guy. But he once said when you're writing, and I think it's for thinking and for people, but when you're like, use your brain to write, but use your stomach and body to find out when you're excited. So it's like, that?
Yeah.
Like whether it's a person, whether it's an idea, whether it's like a chick, even whatever, it's like, use your head for all this. You might go, you know what? I don't think I want to be with this chick, or I don't think that's the right move. And that might be fine, but that can all tell you what's bad. But if you like it, you can only listen to you're like, oh no, something's getting me going here.
Some primal's happening here.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
And the more you can get in touch with that, the more you can kind of, like a metal detector, you can be that for what needs to be said or what needs to be made or what, what person you need to add to your mix. You're like, fuck, this guy would be a good person in the squad right now. It can be even as simple as that. So yeah, trying to get in touch with that, primal, that's a good way to put it. Just that, what buzzes you up. So yeah, I try to.
Dude, this has been a really fun episode, man. I've enjoyed sitting here and listening to you. You made me laugh fucking hard.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, no, it's been cool to hang.
Hard, dude.
I like what you guys have got